And so to circle back to talk about why community is important, just going to talk about a couple of things here that I think encapsulate the essence of community. I think first and foremost, it's worth talking about just the illusion of separation. And oftentimes, it can feel like the big challenges that we are wanting to work through and navigate in our lives are so unique to us. It's so unique to my story, my life experience, and my trauma and abuse and what's happened to me. So there can be this illusion of separation, which also probably is connected to good, like mindful practices where many folks who go through a mindful practice or even psychedelic, work realize that actually the layers of separation between all of us are actually much thinner than we think. There's probably more commonality around us than we are led to believe in media and in modern society nowadays. And many folks will take that a step further to say, actually, separation is an illusion. That may be separation from others. That may be separation from some higher power that you feel within yourself. That may be separation from nature, for example, separation from the world around you, maybe separation from a higher being or a higher source of power, if that's something that you are tuned into in your life. And so oftentimes this leads us to feeling like nobody's going to understand what I'm going through. Nobody's going to get it. Why bother? And I think that once we start to acknowledge that this separateness can actually detriment and inhibit our healing process, then it can help us to go and build those bonds with others. Now, I also want to be clear that being connected and unified is not the same as having the same shared life experience. So this feeling of oneness is not the same as congruency. That doesn't mean that other people look at the world the same way that you do or have the same values and beliefs. What I mean is that there are likely these universal elements of the human experience that we all share. And so isolation is this funny double-edged sword because on one hand, it can lead to so much suffering and inhibition and limitation to our healing process. And on the other hand, it's actually the thing that forces us to seek connection. If we didn't know and feel isolation and separation, then why would we even bother to go and seek connection? You see what I mean? I think the next piece on why community is important is there is just so much power in being witnessed and being seen in your process. I think during the psychedelic experience and in preparation and integration for sure. And I think that there is a part about accountability more tangibly. Like if somebody sees my experience, if I share more about my experience, then it's not just locked up in here within my psyche or within my body or mind where my mind can convince me in and out of anything. So there's a level of accountability. When I speak it, I'm putting power to it. And I'm speaking it into the world, which means that other people can witness it and acknowledge it and be like, that's what Jimmy is navigating through. That's what he's moving through right now. How can I support him in that way? So that's one element of the power of being witnessed. I think in a little bit more intangible way, the power of being witnessed really helps us to validate our experience. So often when I had my own solo experiences, I came out of those experiences and felt like, wow, that was so important. There were all these major takeaways and all these things and all of that. And then as I traveled further and further in time, post my psychedelic experience, I began to question. I was like, well, was that real? How important was that? Maybe it was just a figment of my imagination. And so that's also the other side of the power of being witnessed, is that it can almost remove that second guessing or that self-doubt, especially around these powerful psychedelic experiences. Now, you don't have to have somebody directly witness your experience, just even sharing about your story, your experience, what came up for you at the time, what was important for you at the time, can be this really, really beautiful act of being witnessed. Now, being witnessed is almost like a dance. it's a two-way street, meaning on one side, I have to give myself permission to share and be seen. On the other hand, I want to be seen and be witnessed by a safe and supportive community, right? So, with all that, I just wanted to give a little bit of a primer or some context around the importance of community. And certainly, this is not an exhaustive list. I think that there's probably many more benefits I can talk about. But for sake of timing with this episode, I just want to talk about just elements of good community specific for intentional psychedelic work. The first thing that I'll share is that psychedelic community or finding community in your healing process that may be initiated or catalyzed by psychedelic experiences. I'm trying to get really specific here. The community that you find may or may not be related to psychedelics specifically. Some people do find benefit in, working in community with psychedelics. Like we just recently launched this microdose club, which people are meeting weekly to share and to, learn and support each other in microdosing. We're super excited about that. But I've also talked to my own clients who have found their own community and healing through their pickleball club or the gym that they go to or some type of hobby or some type of passion or interest. I think that what I'm trying to do here is to open up your possibility of finding community. Again, this is about finding a sense of acknowledgement and the sense of welcome. That can look a lot of different ways, and it doesn't have to be specific to psychedelics or the interest of psychedelics.